Hello, a day with Caleb. Today we are talking about movies so bad that they are actually good. And let's just dive right in. We have a list of 30 films. We keep teetering between 20 to 30. I think one of them had 35. So let's just go through them. Starting with one of the best so bad they're good, Double Dragon. We played the video games Double Dragon, the animated series Double Dragon, and then the best probably is the Double Dragon and Battletoads game. Who remembers playing that? But we watched Double Dragon all the time on repeat. Probably wore out our VHS copy. Such a good movie in the sense that it is so bananas that it's really it. As a kid, that stuff you eat up, especially around the time of like Ninja Turtles and all this cool stuff that we had growing up. Morbius, probably the memeiest Sony movie ever created. uh, and that's so bad they're good. The dancing stuff and it's Morbin time. it's a memeable movie, and that's I think the charm of it, and it kind of makes fun of itself a little too. So that's great. I think Jared Leto shared a sequel script and it said Morbius 2, it's Morbin time. So even he got into it. Then we have Super Mario Brothers, again, was on another list, but so bad they're good. This one takes the cake. Just the visuals are so wacky, and there's a lot of weird stuff happening with the goo and the Goombas and all this crazy stuff, and they turn that into a Mario Brothers movie. The Room, again, great. They just did, well, a few years back, they did James Franco biopic of the Room director, creator guy. Comment his name down below. But both movies are great. If you want a little more insight into kind of the behind the scenes, go watch. Is it The Artist? With James Franco, based on the guy that did The Room. Then Troll 2, this one, uh, they kind of grab people that aren't necessarily actors or had acted in the film. I think the lead guy is a dentist in everyday life, and they kind of grabbed him from the streets or something. He just the line deliveries and everything hilarious. Batman and Robin, this memory is vivid. I think we were 10 or 11. We did like a fall festival church thing. It's around Halloween. We had our bag of candy, busted it open, and we were eating candy, watching this fever dream Batman and Robin. Such a great movie as a kid. And I've shared this story, so I don't want to expand on it or retell it too much. But our mom used to clean a house, and this kid had every Batman and Robin toy, and I was so jealous because I only could do, the main characters and maybe one vehicle. He had the whole line, and it didn't faze him one bit. They were very wealthy, but we've told that story before. Ed Wood Plan 9 from outer space, such as any movie, with the great Bela Lugosi. Samurai Cop, a unique angle of a film and just absolute bonkers. The Wicker Man, bees, bees. I think we all know why that movie is so bad it's good. That scene alone is priceless. Nick Cage at his absolute peak. Dragon Ball Evolution. Someone broke down the car scene where he's going back and forth on the car. Just amazing. That's all I gotta say. Amazing. Jaws Revenge. Again, story-wise, how could an animal seek revenge? Especially like a decade later, I think, or years later. It's such a weird concept, but yet it's actually one of my favorite films in the Jaws franchise. I think I would put Jaws, the original, probably Revenge, and then probably 3. That's where they go to SeaWorld, and then 2. So all over the place. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. This one, I think we had a birthday party, like a 9th or 10th birthday party, and a friend of ours, her brother, actually brought this over, and we watched 1 and 2, I think at our birthday party. So that was a cool birthday party kind of movie watch. Street Fighter, the gentleman who plays the bad guy, I think this was his last film, and he agreed to do the film because I think he was battling cancer, and he wanted to give his family money before passing on. And Jean-Claude Van Damme is in this, but I had heard that story recently, and it kind of shed new light on this film. But absolutely stellar movie. Street Fighter. Armageddon in 1998. This was one we watched with our cousins. We were all together, holiday or something, and we sat down and watched this with our younger cousins, which is weird because it's kind of more adult oriented, if you know what I mean. But we watched it somehow. I forget exactly who was supposed to be watching us, but great action movie. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Is this the second or the third movie? Or this is the original, yeah, with George Clooney. Great movie. All the Killer Tomato movies are great. I think the third one is the hardest to find, if I'm not mistaken. Or it could be, but actually the second and third, I think, are both kind of hard to find. The Star Wars Holiday Special. The first appearance of Jango Fett, even though it's animation, that was his first appearance before he appeared in Empire Strikes Back, so that's a fun little thing. Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, most of you probably do not remember or know that there was a Fantastic Four movie before the Jessica Alba, Tim Story, I think, directed the Fantastic Four movies in the early 2000s. They did this, Fox hired Corman to make this on the cheap so they could retain the rights. Never had a theatrical release. It was just made so they could keep the rights and it wouldn't revert back to Marvel. Go check it out. It's probably on YouTube or something. Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. Then Freaks with Bill and Ted. What's his name? From the Lost Boys. Alex Winter. Yes. Such a zany, out there concept. Mr. T is in it too. Such a weird but fascinating movie. Freaks. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Sharknado. That has, 5 sequels now? I think it's on a 5th or 6th movie. That is wild to think about, that has spawned a whole franchise like that, but it was great. The 1990 Captain America, not to be confused with the TV show movies they did 2 of those. This was the 1990 Captain America movie, and it is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. Then Birdemic, out there movie, out there concept, Mac and Me. Hard to watch, but it is endearing in some ways. Bushwhacked with Daniel Stern, off the wall comedy with kids involved. The Skateboard Kid, that's a cool one, because it kind of reminds me of the Super Nintendo games. Are they called Skateboard Kid? Paperboy. Paperboy, I think 2 we played on Super Nintendo. It kind of reminds me of that. Halloween Resurrection, a great, if not cheesy, Halloween sequel. Pinocchio, the Disney Plus movie, that is bad, but the funny part is he walks up to like a steaming pile of crap, and that kind of sums up the movie for most people. But then you have the scene where they're kids wanting to be kids and kind of letting loose. In the original, that was met with adult things that you would do, but in this one, they drink root beer, which doesn't have the same effect. Maximum Overdrive, Amelia Estevez, absolutely banger of a film. Good soundtrack too by AC/DC, right? And the Green Goblin truck, I think someone restored that truck and redid the whole structure of the goblin face. That is awesome. A reason that, and a reason why trucks, you kind of still leery about. That and Joyride, both of them make me leery of trucks in general, and Candy Cane. Then the Shaq movie, Steel, based on the Superman comics. Steel was kind of in the group that Superman was in. Great comic run too, Steel, if you haven't read those comics, but a pretty decent film. I think Shaq admitted later they did this, and is it Kazam? He did for money, basically, but they're still fun movies. Warriors of Virtue, I have the whole carded action figure set. I think all 16 carded action figures, great set, and a great movie. Uh, Even though it was directed by a foreign guy who does like martial arts stunts and wire work, so you can see all that in there. And then the characters, the kangaroos, and all the animal creatures, and the little kid you kind of root for with the limp. Such a great movie, and there's a sequel. Most of you, if you haven't heard of Warriors of Virtue, you haven't heard of the sequel, and I barely know about, but both of those are great. The sequel, not as much, but it's still pretty cool that there's a sequel out there. Last, certainly not least, Speed 2. Couldn't get Keanu back, but Sandra Bullock comes back in this absolute bonkers of a film. You couldn't have a bomb on a bus anymore, so you put it on a cruise ship. It's so weird, but also so creative and interesting. But that was it for that list. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, share with a movie lover. Until next time, go out there and watch those bad, good movies and keep collecting.